I brought the spoon home. Okay, it's broken, but this thing is in this shutdown online listening day number. What is this? 5. It's very spoon is getting fused back together slowly, but anyways, looking at this day, the Ed puzzles, the 2 videos, the British Raj and the Imperialism of the Congo, are now overdue. They were actually due on Thursday night. I've added one more, a short one, the Sepoy Rebellion. The Sepoy Rebellion movie it's got some multiple choice short. It's only about 5. It's only about a 9-minute clip of a movie that's based on that is a real movie that's based on the actual Sepoy Rebellion, called Mangal Mongol Pandey, excuse me, I mispronounced that at first, an Indian soldier who played a key role in the events preceding the outbreak of the Sepoy Rebellion in 1857. And it kind of goes through and reviews some of the things we talked about going back. This little clip reconnects the Opium Wars, and then talks about how he's willing to die for his religious beliefs. Remember, the key spark was the fact that the animal fat from the bullet cartridges that the sepoys were forced to use in soldiering was made from animal fat, and that was against the Muslim and Hindu religions. That was among many issues that were going on with why the Indians were rebelling against British rule. And remember, as you learned in previous readings, this moves them from the indirect under the British East India Company to the Raj, and the Raj is the direct rule that would take from 90 century World War II. That's due on Friday. The other two that you learned about, the British Raj and then the imperialism in the Congo, are now overdue. And this is just another short little clip. All right. So now down to the brass tacks. See, this is why the spoon is a little bit apart. You've done these. As of now, and I look, this situation's fluid. So you're going to tell me, oh, you said this? No. No, that doesn't work like that right now. As of now, I'm gonna hold up. There's probably not gonna be a test as of now. I didn't say that I wouldn't be willing to change my mind depending on how this whole situation plays out. I know we're out till at least the 13th still. So as of now, there's going to be no formal test over this half of the unit as of now. I just don't want it coming back at me. Okay, so sorry to be a little bit rude there, but I know how that will end up looking in a second. Well, you said there wasn't going to be a test. I didn't. Not my words will not be used against me as of now. But one thing that I'm going to do for a small test grade, which you've done numerous times over the course of this semester, you can use your notes. You all have been fairly successful with this. There's a couple of and that will be posted, some documents, and you only have to do a couple that were too focused on the causes of the I apologize. I'm waiting for this to load. Two on the causes of imperialism, a couple of major causes, looking at primary sources. Again, these are sentences. Be thorough. Probably great. Imperialism in Africa, document 1 and 3. And again, test grade, not an actual formal test, but a test grade, because I think that these are important enough to look through. So 3 and 4 on document 15, and you see where document 15 it talks about how and why, and what things we've talked about with document 3. This excerpt talks about why the authors say was the cause of imperialism. And according to Rhodes, Cecil Rhodes was a successful British imperialist in Africa. In fact, he was in South Africa, instrumental with the Boer War, and talking about the Britons and their race and their duty to seize everything. Remember, going back to white man's burden, and how it's a lot of racist undertones there. And then document 17, you're going to answer question document 1 and document 1 and 3, document 1 and 3 for imperialism in Africa, some of the impacts of the imperialism of Africa and the negative impact, and then talking about from Hobson this imperialism, what negative impacts of imperialism did the British scholar point out, and then what all the fact that this is a little later on in time, but this is looking back. So the African people, most of Africa was colonized until after World War II, and even into the 1950s and the 1960s. So it had a long-lasting impact. And the People's Conference that was held in Ghana, and its resolution condemns colonialism, imperialism. So why did this group condemn imperialism? What was their problems with imperialism? What had been the negative impact of it? So you've had a little practice with this as a completion. Just as a reminder, remember that slide 37 is now overdue with the for the jigsaw, the videos, but also slide 40 and 41. And basically, as we're looking, remember this is, I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. I'm going to go through this right now a little bit as though I would in class. Remember that we looked at this guy, Sir John A.R. Marriott, and you were supposed to have this done, I think, for this is now long overdue. It should have been done for Friday. We can look proudly back on British brains, British enterprise, British capital, heaven and materials has transformed the fate of India for the better. This is somebody writing in 1932. So as you're looking at this, the author, of course, is British, and he said that imperialism benefited India because it improved the means of communication, bridges, railroads. So their infrastructure was improved. He's talking about how their infrastructure was improved. So knowing what you know about imperialism, he says that due to improved means of communication, bridges, railroads, irrigation added to irrigation that aided agriculture. So he cites some reasons that the British were benefiting India. Now, knowing what you know, what do you think? Why do you think the author went ever to believe that the excuse me, apologize. Why do you think the author went ever to believe that India was improved by the British? Well, of course, they wanted it supports the ideas of imperialism to be helpful to the mother country and the colonies. That's at least the general idea of mercantilism, right? And then we're contrasting that with this from Nehru about from a book called The Discovery of India, and obviously this is an Indian person writing this in 1946, right before the colonies got the Indian colony got independence, received independence thanks to the efforts of Gandhi. So, in what way does he say the British imperialism has hurt India? He says it stopped economic development, industry, and growth. Right, as he talks about, he said the economic development of India was stopped, and the growth of new industry prevented. A typical colonial colony is built up through, remember, mercantilism. So, how is it possible two authors have such a drastically different opinion? So, knowing what you know, why would the British want to break up India's industries? Because um, they wanted to get the profit, right, and use the mother country, the colony, for the benefit of the mother country. Remember mercantilism. Um, the colony exists for the benefit of the mother country. How is it possible these authors have such drastically different perspectives? They've experienced different sides of imperialism. The British saw all the benefits while the Indians saw the disadvantages. It's very simple. So looking at that, and that's what you're doing when you're looking at this Africa benefits and negatives, and for your test grade, as you're looking at these primary sources in document 3 and document 4 were the causes, and then some of the imperialism in Africa, some of the impact, I guess we could say, of imperialism in Africa, and answering the questions in document 1 and 3, and using the skills that we've gained there. Okay, so as you've noticed, we've come to the end of a unit. So the notebook is ready to be turned in. If you've been following along, you should be ready to turn in the notebook. If not, you get a little catch-up work to do. So it's Sunday 3/29 is what I put as the notebook. You can turn it in earlier if you want. I've exempted and I've listed the slides in the notebook that are exempt. It's a little different for first and sixth hour, because sixth hour, there were a couple days before the shutdown. Sixth hour had a little more time than first hour, so there's a couple more things that you got to. First hour has a couple more slides listed on here that we did not do. So 39, imperialism in India skit. We didn't do the skit. Couldn't do it in class. Responses to European imperialism. I covered that in other slides. The timeline we didn't do this time. You don't have to delete them. Just leave them. I know we didn't do them. For first hour, I know there's a few more that we didn't get to. Go to your list um, go to your list, and for first hour, it's a couple more that we didn't get to, and I know we didn't do them. So please don't come back to me and say we didn't do. I know we didn't do them. I'm not counting them against you. You leave them in there so the numbering doesn't get screwed. But I'll remember when I looked at them. That being said, as you may have known, we're going to the school is going to take Friday off from doing lessons, so you've got a little time to catch up. I know some of you probably are not going anywhere for break, unfortunately. No, but well, obviously you know about the orders. So this is a little bit of time to get caught up and get going with what we need to. So remember, Sepoy Rebellion Ed puzzle and video, and then the DBQs. There's 4 questions, pretty doable considering considering what we've done in the past. We've done many more of those. It's a small test grade, so be thorough, be accurate, writing complete sentences. Wrap up your notebook, and then the test corrections. So remember, before I said up to 4 bonus points for the test corrections. Those are now overdue. Most of you in this class have turned those in. And again, these is not a formal assignment. If you didn't do it, you just won't. You will be eligible for bonus points. Okay, so I think it's the last time video I do before break. So have as good of a break as you can, given the circumstances. We'll be all good. Be thankful that we have most of us hopefully have roofs over our heads and food to eat and are hopefully staying healthy as a result of this unusual the word unprecedented. My wife's getting sick of that word. I'm kind of getting sick of it too. Unusual. You'll probably never see it before in your lifetime. Set of circumstances.